A very good evening and a warm welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight on this 17th day of October 2024. Now, before we get into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories tonight. In our top stories tonight, Omukama of Bunyoro airlifted to Kampala for urgent medical care. Bishop Samuel Bagade laid to rest. President Museveni lauds his legacy. State brainstorms history with top Makerere academicians at State House. And police detectives conduct home search amid crime suspicion. Good evening once again. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and my colleague Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. We do welcome you to our first edition of UBC News Tonight. A multitude of leaders, including religious figures, politicians and dignitaries from the Mengo Kingdom, gathered at St. Paul's Cathedral, Namirembe, to pay their respects to the late Samuel Bagade, who passed away earlier this week. In a message delivered by Uganda's Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, President Yoweri Museveni expressed that the country has lost a devoted servant whose legacy will be remembered for his contributions to both the church and the nation. Bishop Bagade was laid to rest at Namirembe Cathedral burial grounds at the age of 80. Now, President Museveni met and held discussions with Makerere University professors from the History Department at State House in Entebbe. The discussions revolved around African history and heritage. The President highlighted the makeup of the people, citing the Bantu, the Nilotics, the Nilohamites, and so on as some of the portions that make up Uganda. President Museveni pointed at the effort of the Abatembuzi and Bachwezi as certainly a big success in its time, where they took organized political responsibility over territories of Ankole, Bunyoro, Toro, Buganda, and some parts of the north. He said the Luo also took turn at this effort of political control after the Bachwezi. He therefore called on Professor Ndebesa in particular and the entire history department at Makerere University, as well as other institutions, to focus on a bigger framework of existence through political governance in Uganda, which he said did not start with the British, and it is a historical distortion to present it as such. On his part, Professor Ndebesa acknowledged that there were efforts before to unite Africans, but he was quick to add that state formation evolved from an overlap of political as well as religious leadership. Professor Samuel Luanga Luyingo requested the president to get time and write his book about the history of Uganda and Africa in general, saying it is high times Africans wrote their own history. Police detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations alongside forensic experts conducted a search at the homes of former Kampala Capital City Authority KCC executives. The search aims to gather evidence for the ongoing investigations into the Chitezi landfill tragedy, which resulted in the loss of more than 30 lives and significant property damage. As part of this operation, the former executive director of KCCA, Dorothy Kisaka, was escorted to her home in Komamboga. After a thorough search, she was taken back into police custody. Kisaka is currently being held at Kira Police Station. Her colleagues, David Luyimbazi, the former deputy executive director, and Daniel Okello, the former director in charge of public health at KCCA, are detained at Natete police station. The 3 former executives are expected to be presented in court tomorrow for further legal proceedings. Now, the issue of salary harmonization across public universities in Uganda has been a significant topic of discussion, with various stakeholders expressing concerns and highlighting the need for a fair and consistent approach. The initiative, led by President Yoweri Museveni, aimed to ensure that employees holding similar positions across all public universities receive equal pay, irrespective of their institutions. We have more on this report.
Government allocated 61 billion shillings for salary harmonization across public universities in Uganda for the current financial year, but its implementation has faced challenges across different universities. The chairperson of the Public Universities Non-Teaching Staff Executives Forum explained that the budget allocation intended to ensure that employees at the same rank in any public university receive similar salaries.
And I first really thank His Excellency the President, who came up with the issue of salary harmonization, whereby he directed that salaries in all public universities should be harmonized. And this goes that at least every employee that works within a university at a certain rank or title should earn the same money like as his counterpart in any other institution.
However, the release of the funds has caused confusion and discontent across several universities, such as Makerere, Lira, and Mbarara, due to how management at these institutions has chosen to allocate the funds.
For example, the issue of harmonization in Chambogo University has not been there. The Vice Chancellor and his management decided to divert all the money, leaving nothing totally. They diverted the money to recruitment. And we have a letter to that effect, where they were seeking clearance from public service to divert the money to recruit lecturers in science.
No, that is not possible. Much as maybe it may be a wish of Kiambogo to use the money for recruitment of staff, I don't think it's viable. The money was for salary harmonization.
Another major issue that has come up is the question of minimum qualifications, particularly at Makerere University.
And then to do it smoothly, really, we may give some grace period, requiring staff members who are willing to upgrade, and then they can move to those higher positions which they are aspiring to. And those that can't, maybe because of age or they're about to retire, then they don't have to upgrade. They wait. They have maybe 2-3 years to go to retirement. They wait until they retire and they go. And then there can be fresh recruitment for staff with those required higher qualifications.
The ongoing challenges and the need for effective implementation led to a recent meeting with the Minister of Public Service.
The discussion we have had has been very cordial. And in fact, we have seen various issues come up. Some of the issues are to do with the nomenclature, the names of the positions. The other issue is to do with the scales, the notches, from one group to another, and so on. All that is to do with the harmonization.
Robert Kakuru, the chairperson of the Makerere Academic Staff Association and convener of the Joint Staff Association, also expressed hope that a resolution would be reached in the upcoming meeting.
They have requested us to present a request for members to suspend the industrial action, and we shall present it. It's the members to decide. As the leaders, we never called the industrial action. It's the members.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News. BC News.
Thank you, Sudat Kaye. Now, the Omukama of Bunyoro, Dr. Solomon Gafabusa Iguru I, has been airlifted to Kampala for specialized medical treatment. He was picked up this afternoon from Hoima City by a UPDF helicopter that landed on Hoima Boma grounds accompanied by a team of doctors. The Omukama was transported from Karuzika Palace in an ambulance to the waiting military chopper and then taken to an undisclosed hospital. He was accompanied by Omugo Margaret Karunga Adieri and Prince Richard Chitihimbwa, his principal private secretary. According to Chief Prince Fred Mugenyi Ruchunya, who witnessed the Omukama's evacuation, the king has been ill for some time.
And fight a number of hospitals around the world. And there's one particular hospital which has got experience in the kind of illness that our king has suffered from. So we are trying to zero on that. But meanwhile, before even a patient is flown out, it must get clearance from our national referral hospital. We are very thankful. Keep us taking and we pray that the Almighty, you say the Almighty heals. The doctors treat, but it's the Almighty heals. So we pray that the Almighty heals our king and he comes back in one piece.
In more news tonight, members of Buganda Parliamentary Caucus have rejected the amendment in the bill to rationalize Uganda Coffee Development Authority in the Ministry of Agriculture within a period of 3 years. The Vice Chairperson, Buganda Caucus, Dr. Lauryn Masika, says even if the ministry has been reorganized, the country will still need a super specialized agency to lead Ugandan coffee on the international market.
Coffee production and export has been under Uganda Coffee Development Authority for 23 years. However, the current proposed amendment in the bill to merge UCDA into MAIF is to do it after 3 years and give the Ministry of Agriculture this time to reorganize itself. Members of Uganda Parliamentary Caucus have given their input to the bill, saying if UCDA is merged with MAIF, with all the experience of 23 years in coffee production, the country stands to lose specialized expertise.
And last year alone, and in the period of 1 year, 6.2 million bags were exported, worth 1.14 billion US dollars. We assert that you cannot compress 23 years of gained experience in production, processing, marketing, standards, etc. in simply 3 years. And
these MPs say rationalization is meant to reduce on government expenditure through merging agencies. However, UCDA has made a lot of profits for Uganda, citing the 82.2 billion shillings the agency made last financial year.
Hit the 20 bags, the income from coffee per year will be about 3 billion US dollars per year.
Madam Chair, we get more than 15 millions in 1 acre out of coffee in one season.
Members of the committee harbor different views on the contribution of Buganda Caucus members, with some saying it should not only be UCDA, but other agencies, including for cotton and dairy.
That as you are going to lose elections in Buganda here because of coffee, we shall also lose because of cotton. So for that matter, we need to stand for all the agencies to stay.
In this committee is about standard and regulation of coffee in relation to market. What is so difficult for the ministry to have that accreditation and then we do away with this agency?
Will you accept then this merger if MAIF is improved?
Because when Ministry of Agriculture has styled up, has healed its wounds, has become more efficient, you need a super specialized agency which can which can lead us in the competitive dynamics of the markets globally.
The committee received views from the Bugisu Parliamentary Caucus, who proposed to privatize UCDA. The chairperson of the Agriculture Committee of Parliament, Agnes Auma's concern was how accreditation is going to be handled if UCDA is abolished. Nandala Mafabi, a member of Bugisu Parliamentary Caucus, and Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi, chairperson Buganda Caucus, explained to the committee that Ugandan coffee bears a seal of UCDA, and giving this accreditation to MAIF will take years. This is one of the bills that is currently being handled by the Agriculture Committee, where they have to make a report within 45 days that will be presented to the floor of Parliament. I'm Nafka Farida and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Now back to our first enlightening story this evening. A multitude of leaders, including religious figures, politicians and dignitaries from Mengo Kingdom, gathered at St. Paul's Cathedral, Namirembe, to pay their respects to the late Samuel Bagade Sekade, who passed away earlier this week. In a message delivered by Uganda's Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni expressed that the country has lost a devoted servant whose legacy will be remembered for his contributions to both the church and the nation. Bishop Sekade was laid to rest at Namirembe Cathedral burial grounds at the age of 80.
Mourners from across Uganda gathered at St. Paul's Cathedral, Namirembe, to attend the prayers for the final send-off of the late former Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Bagade Sekade. The service was led by the Archbishop of Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba, who spoke of the late bishop as a visionary leader committed to his community until his last days.
Omukyali bato ministry naye ffe ababiyitamu kyekino buli kiseera ng'abaako n'akagambo ak'amagezi. Tunaamusalirwa lw'abadde afaayo nnyo mu kkanisa ye buli kiseera.
Kazimba urged the congregation to focus on love and unity, emphasizing the importance of spiritual values over material pursuits.
Waliwo wano ebintu bye tulina okulowooza. Katonda w'aba ne byatutuusizzaako tuleme kwewanikanga. Katonda bwe tuba tuwa ekitiibwa ekisaanidde nti ekitiibwa kikyo.
In a message conveyed by Prime Minister of Uganda Robina Nabanja, President Museveni highlighted the late bishop's dedication to Uganda, recognizing him as a true patriot whose impact will endure for all years.
The nation shall remain indebted to his service, memories, and his kind words of wisdom will ever be cherished. May the Almighty God rest the soul of the late Bishop Emeritus Bagade Sekade in eternal peace. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President.
The Kabaka of Uganda, Ronald Mwenda Mutabide II, in a message read by Prince David Kintu Wasaja, acknowledged the significant contributions of the late bishop to both the church and the kingdom of Uganda.
Omugenzi tumumanyidde akaseera kawanvu era we yabeerera omulabizi w'e Namirembe, yakolagananga bulungi n'Obwakabaka wamu ne Namulondo. Abadde wa kisa, mwetowaze ng'awa buli muntu ekitiibwa. Tumusaaliddwa nnyo.
The Katikkiro of Uganda, represented by his deputy, Robert Wagwansibirwa, praised Bishop Sekade's contributions, particularly noting his role during the Kabaka's preparations for the royal wedding.
Ssaabasajja Kabaka bwe yali agattibwa ne Nabageka Sylvia Najjinda mu Lutikko eno, omulabirizi Sekade yali musaale nnyo mu nteekateeka zonna, era yayamba nnyo Ssaabalabirizi Wilson Nkooyooyo ng'akola omukolo ogw'ekitiibwa ogw'okugatta abagole mu Lutikko y'Omutukuvu Pawulo gye tulimu kati.
Alan Sekade, the latest bishop wife and witness Nabalinde, representing the children, shared heartfelt memories of their last moments with him and expressing gratitude for the church's support during this difficult time.
nabadde mukutte bwiti yadde atudde na ku katebe kaawo okundabirwamu nga waliwo n'eddagala lye nga kiki oba ogalamireko ku tiles oba wano kati gasiiza kumutwala wansi bwe nalabye ng'agonze onza kangire ki angene mpita abaana mutwale mu ddwaliro okugenda okudda ng'agonze nnyo nze nabadde ndowooza mulamu
yatuwa ekirabo ekisingayo kubanga atamanyi Yesu nga Bishop bw'agambye nze simanyi kyakola kubanga Yesu awa obuvumu ate awa essanyu so atuyigiriza Yesu atuyigiriza okusoma ekigambo abadde exemplary Bishop abadde asonyiwa abadde n'omutima ogusonyiwa.
Archbishop Paul Semogero of Kampala Archdiocese, in a message read by Prelate Gerald Kalumba, described Bishop Sekade as a leader who was deeply committed to the development and well-being of all people.
He is remembered for his emphasis on prayer, education, and holistic development, leaving behind a legacy that will continue to shape and inspire many in the faith.
Bishop Samuel Bagade Sekade, who passed away earlier this week, has been laid to rest at Namirembe Cathedral, burial grounds at the age of 80 years. Story compiled by Andrew Sebira for UBC News.
May his soul rest in peace. Now, in UBC News tonight, Dr. Patricia Achan Okiria, the Deputy Inspector General of Government, has called on young people, particularly students, to leverage their influence and social media platforms to expose and report corrupt activities. She emphasized that students can play a crucial role as whistleblowers by highlighting cases of corruption and raising awareness about its detrimental effects. Dr. Okiria made these remarks during a mentorship conference for aspiring female lawyers organized by the Islamic University in Uganda, Kampala Campus Law Society.
Uganda currently boasts of having over 5,000 licensed practicing lawyers, with around 1,000 students graduating annually from the Law Development Center (LDC). Despite the increase in the number of lawyers over the past 25 years, many new entrants face challenges and are often seen as unprepared for the profession. During her address, Dr. Okiria reaffirmed her office's commitment to investigating, sanctioning and prosecuting corruption cases. She highlighted the need to uphold fundamental values such as discipline, hard work and integrity to prevent corrupt practices in the future.
The fight against corruption in this country needs a holistic approach, and the students' body play a very significant role in the war against corruption. Corruption can be fought by publishing information about corruption and its dangers, by reporting cases of corruption, being whistleblowers. And you know, today they can illuminate the war against corruption using social media. Encourage students, if you see something which is not proper, just take a picture or recording and share with us. We'll be very happy to take on those cases, because my responsibility is to sanction arrests, investigations and prosecution of corruption-related cases in this country.
She also encouraged students to actively build strong professional networks and set clear career goals instead of relying solely on their institutions for opportunities.
To build strong networks, create strong social capital. It helps you to cultivate an authentic understanding of your value in the legal profession. For you in the legal profession, what are you bringing on the table?
Sharifa Mariam, Speaker of the Parliament Law Society at IU Kampala Campus, emphasizes the importance of having robust support systems for female students to help them navigate challenges such as sexual harassment, balancing academic and personal responsibilities, and developing public speaking skills.
These students that you see here, when they go to do internship in law firms, you get to realize that they are facing so many things like sexual harassment. So we wanted to address those issues and talk about them and see how these girls can handle these issues, and also to balance between work, life, school, and to see that we have more successful, strong women lawyers in Uganda in the future.
Story compiled by Chontawaire Proskovia for UBC News.
The State Minister for Tourism has challenged the Uganda Wildlife Authority Board to sustain and further increase the non-tax revenue collected by the Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center, UEC, also known as Entebbe Zoo, from 5.2 billion shillings to 10.4 billion shillings target set for this year. This call was made during the official dissolution of the UEC board following the merger of two government institutions. We have more in this report.
I hand over to you, sir.
The Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center Board was formally dissolved into the Uganda Wildlife Authority at a ceremony held in Kampala.
To officially launch the National Wildlife Conservation Education Strategy.
Previously, UEC had operated as an independent entity focusing on rescuing wild animals, providing education and promoting environmental conservation. Dr. James Musinguzi, who has served as the Executive Director of UEC for the past 18 years, highlighted the center's achievements and successes despite various challenges faced during his tenure.
The board, working with management, grew UEC budget from 4.469 billion in 2017-2018 financial year to 21 billion in 2023-2024. Non-tax revenue has grown from 3.2 billion in 2017-18 financial year to 5.2 billion.
Musinguzi emphasized the center's notable efforts in wildlife rescue and its recognition as one of the best zoos in Africa.
And this is because the center has exhibited international standards and protocols, including to adherence to the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums, Pan-African Association of Zoos and Aquariums, as well as the International Zoo Educators Association standards and protocols.
Doreen Katosime, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, commended the government for integrating UEC and UA to streamline conservation efforts.
So we believe that integrating UEC's expertise in conservation education and rehabilitation with UA's strength in wildlife conservation and management will enhance our ability to protect and sustainably manage Uganda's biodiversity. So the combined resources of UEC and UA will enable us to address some of the most pressing challenges.
State Minister for Tourism Martin Mogara further tasked the Uganda Wildlife Authority Board with sustaining the increasing figures of non-tax revenue collected by UEC, urging them to meet the ambitious target for this year.
Just by the end of this year, they expect to collect 10.4 billion. That is double. The numbers have grown by 200,000 in just 1 year. Probably now we are going to grow by 300,000. Therefore, the UA team, it will be very unfortunate.
Mogara also urged the UA board to ensure the retention and proper integration of all former UEC staff to ensure a smooth transition and continuity in fulfilling their roles. The merger aims to align government efforts by combining knowledge, skills, resources, and experience, creating a more streamlined and effective approach to wildlife conservation and tourism management in Uganda.
Stop breathing. To be a winner, you must breathe only when necessary. Breathing is for losers. What is that? Did I give you permission to sweat? You can sweat in your free time. Push the arms straight.
Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mood Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
To help businesses recover from the impact of COVID-19, government introduced a tax amnesty through a waiver of interest and penalty on outstanding principal tax as at June 30th, 2023. Accordingly, URA has since July 2024 been implementing this waiver. To benefit, simply pay your outstanding principal tax by December 31st, 2024, and the waiver is applied automatically upon payment confirmation. This amnesty applies to domestic taxes, namely income tax, rental tax, payee, and others. Grab this golden opportunity today. For more, use the platforms displayed.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Made in Mbale, the ultimate trade show and expo 2024. Join us for an exciting showcase of Made in Uganda industrial products, proudly presented by Honorable Minister Evelyn Anite and Chairman Tiang Tang Group Paul Zhang. The trade show will be held at Mbale Industrial Park on 18th and 19th October 2024. Come and experience the best of Ugandan industry, all products from Mbale Industrial Park. Entrance is absolutely free. The chief guest, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, with other guest speakers including the Vice President, Her Excellency Jessica Lupo, the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Matia Kasaija. The Mbale Industrial Trade Show and Expo by Uganda, Build Uganda, powered by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development.
Welcome back from the break. And now in more news this evening, the Commissioner at the Ministry of Works and Transport, Winston Katusabe, has commended Kira Motors for adopting green mobility as part of the transition to mass transportation in Uganda. He highlighted that this initiative could help reduce air pollution, citing statistics from the Air Quality Project at Makerere University. Katusabe made these comments during a green mobility stakeholders engagement in Kampala. We have more.
Public transport mainly contributes to air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions, affecting urban air quality and public health, and has led to numerous premature deaths, including from lung cancer. As cities worldwide face the impacts of climate change, the push for green mobility has become increasingly vital. The Ministry of Transport has unveiled an ambitious plan that aims to reshape the transportation landscape, placing sustainability at the forefront.
Government is putting in a lot of effort. That's why you see a number of roads within Kampala being maintained and also rehabilitated. So, as long as you deal with issues of emission, issues of pollution, these must come with interventions. Like I said, technology.
Key elements of this strategy include expanding electric vehicle infrastructure, as explained by Katusabe.
The government has come up with a policy of e-vehicles, electric vehicles, electric motorcycles, and the efforts are being made to make sure that we have what we call charging infrastructure in place to be able to move into this direction.
He also commended Kira Motors for its role in advancing green mobility and facilitating the transition to mass transportation.
We've seen a number of buses on Northern Bypass doing very well. I used to find a lot of jam, people standing, and I think even some of them don't know which type is a taxi, which one is a government vehicle. But these buses are marked. You know where the bus is going. They are doing a pilot, but they are doing a good job. And if we can have as many buses as possible in Kampala, conventional or mass transit, then this helps us to address the problem.
Engineer Baino Mugisha, project manager of air quality at Makerere University, emphasized the importance of data and technology in moving towards green mobility.
Once you have this data, we can actually be able to know how many vehicles are on the roads, what type of vehicles, are on the roads, what make are they, and we can also know their emissions footprint, so that we can be able to actually know that this type of vehicles are contributing this much to the emissions.
Kampala currently hosts over 3 million people daily, with many relying on public transport. The Kampala Capital City Authority is also implementing initiatives to improve the city's air quality.
We also do a lot of, should I call them sensitization and awareness or advocacy engagements, and one of those would be the car-free day, in which on that day where we close off the road to motor vehicles and open it up to people to walk there, to cycle, to play, to enjoy the street for other functions other than vehicle use. And that in itself is a way to show people that other road users do exist, but also the importance of other modes of transportation like walking and cycling.
All these efforts aim to establish efficient, accessible and environmentally friendly transportation systems in the country. Justine Nakami, UBC News.
Thank you, Justine. Now, cases of child neglect, sexual harassment and denial of sexual rights among men have topped this year's report by Sauti Uganda, as most of these have been documented through the 116 toll-free lines. This report has been handed to the Youth and Children Affairs Minister, Palamba Rugahara, with Central and Western Uganda taking the lead in abuse.
10 years since its inception, Sauti Uganda records over 1,000 calls on a daily basis.
Because we have calls and cases. So we receive 1,000 calls in a day. Of those, 40 to 50 are cases of violence against children, men or women.
The men call them more, calling in terms of dialing. But when it comes to reporting actual cases, the women report them more.
And these are mainly from the Central Region and Western Uganda.
In terms of the order of the most calls by region, Honorable Minister, the Central Region takes it, followed by the Western Region, then the Eastern, and then lastly, the Northern.
Child neglect, trafficking and child sacrifice lead the numbers of cases recorded at Sauti Uganda, with men dominating as culprits.
Defilement, the child marriages, then followed by physical abuse, and then others follow like trafficking, like issues of child sacrifice and the others. So in terms of the perpetrators, 80% of our perpetrators are male.
It is also reported that cases related to income in many families are on the rise.
Economic violence, where their wives or partners are denying them access to resources such as land. Much as they might have bought these resources together, sometimes their partners turn against them and connive with other people.
With confidentiality assured, this has not left behind men, as they make up 60% of the daily complainants.
Form of violence against men, physical violence. The men are also being beaten by the women. Yeah, it's just that they are silent, but it's actually happening.
I'm surprised that men report 60% of the calls are men who are reporting of mistreatment. There are women in this world who mistreat men as well, by the way. You should understand it.
Sexual dissatisfaction tops the men's main complaints.
Men call and complain that they are being denied their sexual rights by their partners. So my call is to the partners, please reduce on denying these men their sexual rights. Otherwise, they will constantly move out and either go on the street to buy, which is a very bad habit.
The report further indicates that 20% of the user calls at Sauti are coming from children, with many of them lodging complaints about parental negligence and sexual harassment.
The public reports the most and the children report the most is child neglect. We have a lot of absent fathers, Honorable Minister. The family is not really together to look after children. It's followed by sexual violence, like you've been saying on various platforms, in terms of defilement.
Members of the general public are therefore urged to embrace the usage of the 116 toll-free number if they have matters in regards to the above subject. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
This one, Honorable Minister, that's why.
Now, FDC Chairman Jack Sabiti has called on party leaders and members not to consider the party as belonging to an individual, but rather to embrace the theme of building it together and practicing forgiveness. He made these remarks during the 18th National Council meeting held at the FDC headquarters in Najanankumbi.
The 18th National Council Conference commenced today at the FDC headquarters with a large turnout of leaders from districts across Uganda. The attendees gathered to develop strategies and ideas aimed at advancing the party's vision. During the meeting, Chairman Jack Sabiti presented a report highlighting the party's progress and future goals. He emphasized how, despite numerous challenges, the party has managed to remain united and resilient. The conference was attended by notable party figures, including Party President Patrick Amriat, Secretary General Nandala Mafabi, and members led by Chief Whip Apollon Sibambi, among others. Chairman Sabiti urged leaders to work towards building the party alongside young, dedicated members. He reiterated the importance of unity and commitment to the party's growth, emphasizing that FDC does not belong to any single individual.
On our part, the door is always open for those who will realize that they were misled. We forgave those who wronged us and demonized us politically, and we should forgive and forget what we have forgotten.
Philip Ojara, MP for Chua West constituency, reflected on the significance of knowing one's roots and maintaining respect for the party's values. He highlighted this as the reason for his return to the party's headquarters in Najanankumbi, where he feels a sense of belonging as an FDC member.
So when I've learned that the other group would want to go and start another political party, which I've never known in my life, I've known FDC the entire life, I realized, said, no, wait a minute, I need to come back. And where the party I belong to, the party I subscribe to, and the party that has taken me to parliament, which is FDC. So it's not supposed to be a surprising issue that I've come back to the party FDC, because I am anyway still FDC, even up to now.
Several MPs present at the meeting expressed their determination to spread the party's message across the country. They encouraged those who feel disillusioned with the party to live peacefully, allowing the remaining members to continue with their work unimpeded.
The challenges we are having is very normal and is for the good. Mr. President, this is the time that we shall see the best of our party FDC. We are telling our people from northern Uganda that let all pretender just leave us.
What has been said, I only want to say one thing about us FDC members. Let us use our energies to fight for the party rather than fighting against the party. Let's mobilize ourselves to ensure that we catch the eye in 2026.
FDC spokesperson John Chikonyogo underscored the importance of the National Council meeting, stressing that the issues being addressed will ensure the party's strength and progress. He also highlighted the need to focus on the measures that would solidify the party's leadership role in the country. Mary Namkose, Nicholas Nduga, UBC News.
Health professionals are calling for increased stakeholder collaboration and community engagement to combat global epidemic outbreaks. This appeal was made during the 18th Joint Annual Scientific Health Conference held at Hotel Africana, Kampala, under the theme Global Health Security, Partnerships for Epidemic Response and Control in Sub-Saharan Africa. We have more.
This year's theme of the conference is Global Health Security, Partnerships for Epidemic Response and Control in Sub-Saharan Africa. And this is a very timely theme as we reflect on the recent crisis, the importance of building resilience through global partnerships cannot be understated.
Dr. Haruna Mwonge, chair of the organizing committee, highlighted that the event gathered around 400 health professionals from across the globe to strategize on addressing global epidemics.
2024 has been organized by the School of Biomedical Sciences, which is at the forefront of fostering innovative research and strengthening collaborations across various disciplines to address these challenges. The Uganda Medical Association shall continue to be instrumental in ensuring swift and coordinated responses during public health crises.
He emphasized the importance of communities working in synergy with partners to combat emerging health threats collectively.
So our experts in these fields play a crucial role as the first line of defense in Uganda's public health system. I am happy that Makerere University, a valuable partner, is convening us to share knowledge and resources to strengthen global health security.
Professor Damalina Kanjako, principal of Makerere University College of Health Sciences, stressed that the institution is committed to training a workforce capable of responding to epidemics. She revealed that the university receives substantial government support with an annual allocation of $30 billion for research, of which 50% goes to the college. This funding supports young innovators in health research.
Why are we partnering? Because everybody is important. For us at the teaching institutions, we are important. The people in health are very important. But most importantly, the community is very important. The parliament is very important. The finance people who give the country money are very important. The government, the governance is very important. If the government gives us vaccines and the people in the community don't go to get them, they'll still be ill. And if somebody is ill in the community and doesn't go for treatment, they'll spread the medication.
USAID Uganda Mission Director underscored the necessity of a multi-sectoral approach to public health, emphasizing that health is a shared responsibility beyond just health workers. The conference reinforced the need for collaborative efforts to address health challenges in the region.
We must continuously invest in research and development, and especially vaccine research and diagnostics. And at USAID, we're doing just that. From investing in large-scale, continent-wide, for example, HIV/AIDS vaccine research, through a project called Brilliant that's currently ongoing, to malaria development programs. And beyond that, we are also committed to supporting local manufacturing to expand the availability of diagnostics and other health products that are crucial when we are responding to these outbreaks.
The event was organized in partnership with Makerere University's College of Health Sciences, the Uganda Medical Association, and the Uganda National Association of Community and Occupational Health.
Now, financial support towards facilitating Uganda's open door policy to migrants, especially the refugees, should be harnessed to enable the country cope with the heavy burden it bears as it hosts over 1.7 million refugees. According to the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, as a developing country, it is an uphill task for Uganda to ensure all-time access to social amenities for refugees. Minister Oryem remarked this while officiating the launch of the International Organization for Migration's four-year country strategy for Uganda, held at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala.
The International Organization for Migration has launched a four-year country strategy for Uganda, highlighting areas of focus for the period 2024 to 2028.
Here, as I said, with really the root causes, like how can we make sure that we address the root causes of displacement, whether this is with regard to climate change, whether this is with regard to health emergencies. We see it more and more. We had COVID, we have all Ebola, now we're having Mpox. So how can this be basically further supported? And then, as I said, really to go in a direction to migration choice.
Gracing the launch were representatives from the different United Nations agencies who sang praises for Uganda's open door policy, which has seen people threatening to hit a 2 million mark find refuge.
For years, Uganda has been a model and shining light for how to receive and support foreigners, be they refugees or migrants.
The EU commends Uganda's open border policy for refugees and recognizes the country's generous and progressive refugee policy framework, which truly serves as a model in the region and beyond.
The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Lauryn, represented the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja at the event. Describing a refugee status as one that does not discriminate, Minister Lauryn disclosed that just like majority of his colleagues in cabinet, he is a former refugee, likening it to the reason for the country's famous open door policy.
When you see welcoming to refugees, amongst the other factors that the refugees from Sudan, Sudanese, we share the same culture, similar language, or so. Apart from that factor, the fact is that the His Excellency President, including me, who is a refugee with him in Tanzania, and others, have the feeling and have the sympathy for those who seek refuge in these countries, because they know what we know, we feel, and we've experienced what they have gone through.
He, however, questioned the international community not to take this for granted, but consider supporting Uganda as she struggles to maintain the spirit of hosting displaced persons.
The impact on refugees, hosting refugees, is enormous to our economy. The pressure it puts on our schools, the pressure it puts on our health centers, the pressure it puts on our roads, the pressure it puts on our environment. All these are things that our development partners do, whereas they are aware of, but it's something also they should put their money in addition to praising us.
In response, the IOM Regional Director, Franz Celestine, expressed willingness to advance this call to development partners for consideration.
With this strategic plan, IOM is ready to work with the government of Uganda, to work with the individuals to support your generosity, to make sure that as we support the refugees, we also support the Ugandan people.
Earlier, the regional refugee coordinator of the U.S. government spoke of the untapped economic potential that lies in hosting refugees.
The United States has had an economic benefit of $124 billion. So I want to say that is almost $10 billion a year. And when I talk about that, that is taking into account the cost of resettlement. That is taking into account the cost of social assistance. That is the net benefit that comes to the United States from hosting refugees and asylum seekers, $124 billion.
Commenting on this, Minister Lauryn minced no words, revealing that narrative only applies to developed countries. The International Organization for Migrations exists to, among others, confront the underlying causes of forced movement. Mary Namkose, Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Pastor Robert Kayanja of Miracle Center Cathedral Church, Rubaga, has today appeared before Mwanga 2 Magistrates Court, Mengo, and testified for the second time against a group of 9 former Chifesi gang members who allegedly trespassed at his church and gave false information to police that he engaged them in sodomy acts. Kayanja has made an impassioned plea for justice while appearing before the Mwanga 2 Magistrates Court, where 9 individuals are accused of making false sodomy accusations against him.
Magistrate that the sentences, if these accused persons is found guilty, should not be like the one of 2010 of slapping people on the wrist. Community service, after tarnishing somebody's name, put a nation on tentacle for 5 years, and then you are given community service. Because of those lenient sentences, it has caused this thing to continue and continue. Everybody thinks I can make money.
Meanwhile, the lead pastor of Bethel Healing Prayer Center International Church, Lauryn Masika, has condemned the misuse of the internet and social media platforms by people who label others irresponsible, thus tarnishing their names and images.
When you have to bring everything about you in the public and there's no privacy anymore, if people are hating each other and you have to put it on media, I think it's misuse of the media. It's losing meaning, which media is supposed to be educative. It's supposed to help our children to learn more than just being on there, shaming ourselves and embarrassing ourselves, quarreling and talking against others on media. I don't think that's worth it. I don't think it's going to change anything. It creates more enmity.
Pastor Masika made the remarks a monthly Thanksgiving prayer session held at Bethel Healing Prayer Center Church, where she prayed to God to intercede and lead the candidates who commenced their final examinations.
So my prayer is for those of you that are getting ready for your exams, that God will put his hand upon you. If you are struggling for exams or school fees, that even the last minute opportunity will be there for you to sit for exams. The Lord will provide so that you don't find yourself at the last minute missing out.
Pastor Manjeri has organized an overnight prayer this Friday, purposely for a peaceful Uganda. I'm Waiva Njuko for UBC.
All right, in more news this evening, the Minister in charge of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, has highlighted the crucial issue of youth unemployment as one pressing concern that baffles the nation, one which needs quick intervention to propel Uganda economically faster. During today's Public Investment Management Conference held at Makerere University, Kasaija says over 1 million Ugandans work as boda riders, with nearly half of them being university graduates. This underscores the urgent need for quality, bankable projects that foster job creation and advance Uganda's human capital development agenda. We have more.
Despite Uganda's consistent GDP growth, youth unemployment remains a pressing concern.
As Ugandans, the issue of unemployment of our youth coming from Makerere University and the other high institution of Rani is a real thorn in my flesh.
Each year, over 40,000 young Ugandans graduate from Uganda's universities, but with limited job opportunities, many are forced into informal ventures like boda riding. Minister Kasaija revealed that 500,000 graduates are currently in this sector, a clear indication that government investment in large-scale job-creating projects is necessary.
That these bodas, there are 1 million, according to the statistics. But of those 1 million, 500,000 are university graduates. 500,000 professors. 500,000 of your products here and elsewhere.
Uganda aims to grow its GDP from the current $50 billion to $500 billion over the next 15 years, making human capital development a crucial focus than ever. Achieving this goal requires well-planned, high-quality projects with assured returns.
If we do not move fast, the youth who are unemployed will overtake us. So everything possible to create jobs for these youth must be done.
We may have the money to invest as government, even as private sector, but we must ensure that these projects we invest in are not only financially viable, but also they are worthwhile.
Another critical highlight noted is the significance of reviewing ongoing government projects like the parish development model to ensure they are yielding the expected financial outcomes.
Even things like parish development model, UPE and USE are all public investments, and we need to study them and see whether they are actually making returns to the public.
This conference held at Makerere University brought together stakeholders to evaluate Uganda's financial investment landscape. Crispus.
Winning requires the stamina of a lion. But most importantly, it requires that you carry that water up to the top of the hill. However, you must use a spoon. Take the water now. Go, run, climb up the hill in 72 spoons. Faster, go, go.
Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected savings. Keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we've found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or
Welcome back from that break, and now into the world of sports tonight. Teams from 7 faculties at Kampala International University